A real boss bitch like Flacco.
All right. I don't know who this is. Is this Keisha Cole? Anybody? This Keisha Cole? I don't know. I don't be knowing singers' faces. Women singers' faces. I mean, Summer Walker, honestly, I don't even know. I can't even, if Summer Walker could literally walk past me, I wouldn't know who she is. Because I feel like every time I see her, her face looks different. No shade or nothing like that. I'm just saying, I wouldn't know. I really don't know that many faces.
Now I want to talk about a recent story involving a popular singer who decided to expose some things behind the scenes in the music industry. Priscilla Renee Hamilton, professionally known as Money Long, is a 36-year-old singer
my fault.
From Gifford, Florida. She got her start in the music industry as a songwriter, penning hits for major artists before transitioning into a successful...
Oh, she definitely changed her face. Because this looks nothing like her.
Got her start in the music industry as a songwriter, penning hits for major artists before transitioning into a successful solo career. I first became aware of Money Long when she dropped the R&B hit Hours and Hours. The song released in late 2021, and it became a massive success, peaking at number 16 on the Billboard charts in early 2022. While Money Long is a highly talented singer, her contributions as a songwriter have made an even bigger impact on the music industry. I'll dive deeper into her impressive track record later in the video, but for now, let's focus on something she recently revealed. In a video posted to her Instagram account, Money Long shared a story about Atlantic Records, one of the biggest major labels in the music industry, asking her to write a soulful song for a non-black artist. She turned down a request, making it clear she wasn't comfortable with the situation. To further emphasize her stance, Money Long opened up about making it
Did it blur out her eyebrow?
clear she wasn't comfortable with the situation. To further emphasize her stance, Money Long opened up about this through a post on her Instagram. In the post, she attached a soundbite of rapper Boosie saying, "Hell no, I'm not doing that," paired with a video of herself lip-syncing to the audio, and this was as a way to mock the request Atlantic Records made to her. In this response, she not only addressed the issue publicly, but also
I should have like Keke Palmer.
Showcased her frustration in a lighthearted yet impactful way. In the actual caption of her Instagram post, Money Long shared more details by saying, "And when I said no, one of them said, you can reach in that Priscilla Renee vault and see what you have in there." So Atlantic Records, who made this request to her to write this soulful song for this non-black artist, said you can reach into this vault of all the music that she has, right? She's made throughout the years, and you can give us one of those songs from that vault. That's what she's saying, right? She responded sharply saying, "Boy, do you know what a vault is? That's where you keep the valuables. Facts. If you don't get somewhere and sit down." She also added, "I wanted to cuss them out so bad, y'all." Despite the significance of this story, it didn't get as much attention as I thought.
Your forehead is beaming, boy. I ain't gonna lie.
It deserved, which is why I wanted to address
I know my
it
forehead
here.
be
While the
beaming,
video did make its rounds online, which I'm going to show you the video in a second, Money Long was mostly praised for standing her ground. However, some questioned her decision to bring the issue to the public, which led to her releasing a follow-up video where she exposed even more things about the industry and some of her experiences. Now, I think most people are familiar with the song Timber by Pitbull featuring Kesha. It's arguably one of the most recognizable dance/pop tracks of this past decade. I'd be genuinely surprised if you haven't heard it.
I heard it.
The song, released in October 2013, became a massive hit, topping the charts for 3 weeks in 2014. To put its impact into perspective, the music video currently has over 1.5 billion views.
Don't tell me she wrote that.
Now, what many people might not know is that the hook, post-chorus, and bridge of Timber, the parts that made the song so iconic, were actually written by Money Long. Her songwriting is the backbone of the song's success and one of the key reasons why it remains so memorable today. Now,
so
according to Money Long, she wasn't paid a single cent upfront for her work on Timber. Typically, songwriters receive an upfront fee for participating in studio sessions where they collaborate with other artists and contribute to a track. This fee is separate from the royalties they earn from the song's success. To this day, even after the song's release and massive success, she claims she never received that upfront payment. Money Long also shared the story of how Timber came to fruition. She attended a studio session where she came up with the concept and lyrics for the song. Two industry professionals present at the session were so impressed with the track that they expressed interest in sending it to rapper Flo Rida, who it turns out is Money Long's cousin, which is crazy. After the session, she left, and a couple weeks later, she received a call.
About 2 weeks before the song gets ready to come out, they hit me up saying, "Hey, Ben," I'm not gonna say your last name, Ben, who used to work at Atlantic, calls me and says, "Hey, we need you to come cut some vocals." What does that mean? In my mind, you need my voice on the song. Cool. They still haven't said anything. So I go, and I'm hearing somebody else's vocals on my song. I'm like, what is this? I'm hearing this part. Woo. When I wrote it, I said, whoa, where the woo came from. They're like, oh, well, you know, she couldn't sing it like you. So we had her change it to woo. And now we want you to go in and sing the woo underneath her because your vocals are underneath her on the hook, on the whole song. And so if you don't sing the woo, it's gonna sound different. And we need to have the same feel. That's the problem that I have. You want it to feel a certain way, but you want it to look that way, but you want it to feel this way. Nah, player. I didn't get paid, among other things on the business side that just were not handled properly. Not to mention, later on, there's a copyright claim on the song. Said artist's mother was trying to get publishing on the song, and she didn't write it. Not one word.
That's crazy.
Yeah, song came out. The rest is history. The only reason why I was even in the studio, because my Karen bought me flowers and sent me on vacation, because that's the only way that he could get me to show up, because they always do stuff like this, specifically Atlantic Records.
Essentially, the record was given to Pitbull without Money Long's knowledge. Pitbull, who has a close working relationship with Kesha, brought her on board to perform the song. Kesha ended up singing the lyrics that Money Long had written. And Money Long only found out about this when she was asked to re-record a specific part of the song as background vocals.
Crazy.
This request came because Kesha was unable to hit certain notes that Money Long had originally written and sung. Long story short, Money Long never received the upfront fee she was owed for her work on Timber, which is undeniably unethical. However, as she's credited as a songwriter on a track, which has over 1.6 billion streams on Spotify, it's likely she's received royalties from its success. That said, Priscilla hinted at
I'd be mad as hell if I don't get royalties for one. I wouldn't be mad if I didn't get royalties for like a song that got like 2,000 views or like 5,000 listens. But you talking about 1.6 billion listens and I didn't get a check for none of it?
Time weren't handled properly, suggesting that she may not have been fully compensated in terms of royalties either. Now that's my interpretation of her comments. If we're sticking strictly to facts, however, you can disregard that speculation. First, let's address the initial part of the story involving Atlantic Records asking Money Long to write a song for a non-black artist, a soulful song. According to Money, they specifically requested a soulful song for this non-melanated artist, which became the focal point of her frustration and subsequent public statement. For those unfamiliar, Money Long has an extensive track record as a songwriter in the music industry. She's contributed to some of the biggest records of the past decade. In addition to her work on Timber, she wrote California King Bed for Rihanna's 2010 album, Loud. She also wrote songs for Mariah Carey, Fifth Harmony, Chris Brown, and many more. Her ability to create hits is undeniable, making her experiences and insight into the industry even more significant. Songwriters, along with engineers, are some of the most underappreciated and disrespected people in the music industry. Not only are they undervalued, but they're also often underpaid, or in many cases, not paid at all, which is truly very sad. For those who may not know, songwriting in the music industry is often a waiting game. You might write a song today and not see a paycheck until a year or even 2 years later.
And then the money part, because like a lot of people be like, you know, songwriting, you make so much money. You gotta understand there is a pipeline. So I might write a song today and I won't see $1 for 2 years. Sheesh. So what job do you know that you work on spec like that for that long? Imagine going to work and you don't get your first check 2 years after your first day. That's crazy. You gotta have a certain level of cray-cray to get up and keep doing that. Honestly, like the stuff that I went through as a songwriter, and I'm on the high side of the spectrum where I'm getting cuts. I have people who know my track record and I'm still getting murderized.
Right.
You know?
I've heard plenty of stories about songwriters creating massive hit records and not receiving a single cent, even on the royalty side. It's honestly shocking how little the music industry values and protects its songwriters. The issue isn't new, however, and many artists have spoken out about this over the years. One that comes to mind is British singer Ray, who's been very vocal about the mistreatment of songwriters in the industry.
British record music industry, please. I just want to have a lovely, brief conversation about normalizing giving songwriters master royalty points. It can be.
And the thing is, why are they not getting royalties? If they wrote it, and why are they not getting no royalties?
Costs, okay? You don't have to. It doesn't have to be at your expense, but it just means that if the songs win big, the writers get to win big too. Please allow that to happen. Please, please.
Now that's the unfortunate reality for songwriters in the music industry. For many of the hits you hear, there's a high chance, about 90%, that the people who wrote them weren't fairly compensated, and in some cases weren't compensated at all. In Money Long's case, she did something truly impactful by speaking about this issue. What's even
that's what I'm saying. If the Hours and Hours song never came out, bro, like I wouldn't even know who Money Long was. I wouldn't even know she wrote all that shit. Like,
is that I've rarely ever seen male rappers or male artists in general, especially black ones, address this topic publicly, and we're gonna dive into why that's particularly relevant. Money Long's songwriting abilities are incredibly versatile. She can write everything from country to pop to hip-hop inspired tracks, though her main focus is R&B and pop. This diverse skill set is why the music industry approached her for this specific situation. Essentially, they wanted this non-melanated artist, likely a white artist as that would align with the context, to enter a traditionally black musical space with the help of Money's pen game. The problem here is that this artist clearly lacked the soul and authenticity needed to genuinely represent the genre. That's where songwriters like Money come into play. The industry wanted to use her talent to help this artist infiltrate black music and culture, but Money refused, saying, "I'm not doing that shit," and I respect her 1,000% for standing her ground.
Yeah,
the issue isn't just that they're asking her to write a song, it's that they're asking her to create a soulful record which carries a deeper emotional weight. The underlying premise is clear. The incentive for her lies in the substantial financial gain, with the promise of significant profit being the primary benefit. On the other hand, Money clearly understands their intention. It's to capitalize on her talent and authenticity to create a record that resonates deeply with listeners, ultimately generating significant revenue and elevating their brand. And ultimately, they want her to do that through a black art form. And Money, she's not stupid, she's a smart woman. She knows that they see her as a vessel to craft something raw and meaningful. For her, the challenge isn't just about delivering a soulful record, it's about maintaining her artistic integrity while navigating the transactional nature of that request. This is actually one of the bigger issues with hip-hop today that's not very talked about. If you didn't know, a lot of black male rappers are ghostwriting for non-melanated rappers simply because they're being handed a check. For example, I heard about a specific non-melanated up-and-coming rapper whose biggest hit was actually written by a black male rapper. But here's where it gets even more interesting, because that same black rapper also owns a piece of equity in this guy's career because he acted as a private investor. He reportedly fronted him hundreds of thousands of dollars to kickstart his career. I can't go into too much detail about the situation because it's not public knowledge yet, and someone told me this information in confidence. But it highlights a growing dynamic in the industry where financial leverage and artistic contribution intersect in ways that aren't always transparent to fans. This dynamic is actually quite common. There are so many rappers who will do anything for the bag. What's ironic is how a lot of hip-hop fans are quick to blame women for supposedly ruining the genre, yet it's often men who are ghostwriting many of these records for female artists, particularly those with lighter skin tones. And it doesn't stop there. These same rappers are doing the same exact thing for non-black artists in the genre, contributing to the very shifts they sometimes criticize. Record labels are clearly focused on crafting a marketable image for the artist they're trying to sell, and that image has to align with the music. If a rapper claims to be from the projects and boasts about playing with guns as a kid, they're expected to rap about that lifestyle. But when they don't actually come from that background, it creates a gap that needs to be filled. And that's where a black man who generally comes from that environment is brought in. He's handed a large sum of money to quietly write and produce these songs, staying behind the scenes while the image of the other artist is amplified. This practice is one of the many reasons why the essence of hip-hop has become so diluted. The raw authenticity that once defined the genre is often replaced with manufactured narratives.
Blackie. What else you gonna talk about?
Done it. I don't really know her entire life story like that, but what I do know is if she had, chances are she wouldn't be speaking out about it now, because the way the music industry works is it's a very grimy business.
Yeah. That and all that, yeah. Boy, what a day. We finna wrap this up right here. So I appreciate y'all for coming out. I'm talking like y'all just came out to see you, boy. But I'm finna upload these, wrap it up, put it in the blunt, smoke that bit. We out. You know.